W11, 723, 764, W11, 732, 764, W11, 764, 769, and 900, and 705, 764, and W11. What do you notice? When you render wood, there are two tones of brown. One is light and one is dark. Okay? The darker brown is actually for the knots, the imperfections on the wood. Let's say, for example, this wood here. The knot part is that part na parang medyo mata. Okay? So those are your knots. So you will be using the darker shade of brown for the knots, and the lighter shade is the color of the tone of the wood. Okay? Now what is the W11 for? The W11 is used always, but not always, for shading. Okay? So when you have to shade, let's say for example this one here. Oh look. You see that dark graded stroke there? Actually, W11 was used for that portion. Okay? And then you just blend it using the tone of the brown that you used here. So it mixes, and at the same time, it creates a graded effect of a darker shade of that tone of brown. Okay? Just like this one also. So normally W11 is used for shading. Okay? Now, if you notice one combination there is 764 and 769. This time the 764 is used as a lighter shade and 769 as the darker shade. Okay? Now since it will come out, when you render that, it will come out dark, the W11, if you use that for shading, might not be very visible, okay? Because it's almost the same shade na of that combination, 764 and 769. So instead of W11, you use 900, which is black, which is a darker shade of W11. Okay? So, we will render wood. Now, just choose any combination there. I will use 7. And then, okay, now, before you start, it would be better if you can place tape around so that you have a border. Okay? Para may border. Okay, again, what did I say? You fold one end of the tape para hindi kayo mahirapang mag-peel. Kasi kung hindi, makikibaka kayo dyan. Now, I will place this tape on this side. Now, make sure that the side of the tape is parallel to this line here. Otherwise, if you don't, it will come out tabingi. Okay? There. Okay, next, I will place one here. Fold one in. Now, you have two tapes that overlaps. Make sure that the corner, yung corner na nag-overlap ng tape, you press that hard, okay? And then the side of the tape. Now, what will you do with the line drawing? What will you do with the line drawing that does not reach the side of the tape? You have to extend that using your sign pen. Like this one. Ito yung side ng tape. This is the side of the tape. I have to extend this line there. Okay? So you use your sign pen. Okay, there. This one pa. Now, every time you render wood and you have to render the graining, remember that the graining's direction is always towards the length of the wood. Okay? When I say towards the length of the wood, if this is the piece of wood, if you look at the direction of the graining, it's in the lengthwise direction. It doesn't go across. Okay? Why? Because if the graining goes across, that wood will break. Okay? So it has to be always towards the length of the wood. Okay? Like this part here. If you notice the direction of the graining, it's always lengthwise. Okay? Now, I told you that the countertop is made out of solid wood. So this piece of wood here goes that way, and this piece of wood here goes that way. Which means that they will meet somewhere at the center. So you have a miter joint there. Okay? Now, you don't have to use pencil for that, because we will just place a tape on that side. Okay? So that our termination will exactly end there at the miter joint. Okay? So, after placing the tape here, we are again going to place a tape on this side. Okay? It has to be exactly at the corner. You see that? Okay, there. And then press. Okay, now you are ready to render. Now, the combination that I will use is 723 and 764. So, bahala na kayo if you want a different combination. So, you make a few side-to-side strokes. Now, be careful baka you might go out of bounds. Meaning, you go over where your tape is. Again, it is okay if you have those lines there, because we needed those lines for our graining. Okay? So, after you have rendered side to side, you add more graining using your fine point. Add more graining. Okay. Next. This time, we will be adding the knots. We will be using our 764. Okay? So, do not put a lot of knots naman. Baka magmukhang pinya na yan. So, just, just a few lang. Like that. Okay? And then blend. Now, this time when you blend, you are not going to blend it like that. No. When you blend it as if you are adding again grainings. Okay? Do not start somewhere there at the center because you will just make a mark. It has to start maybe on top of the tape so that you will create a continuous line. And do not end it. Let's say, do not end your stroke like that somewhere here because again, it will just make a mark. So, it has to go like this. When you end your stroke, you have to lift it so that you will create a pointed stroke. Okay? So again, you add more graining. And then you go through that